I may have talked about this previously in one of my old cooling videos, but there's a great way to cool your house in late spring, early summer, and you may even be able to warm your house with this same method in the autumn, and that is air transfer. Now I've got a door in my bedroom, with louvers in a bit of sheet metal that's installed in the door. I've got a little bit of plywood that I can slip up and down on rails to basically open or close that vent. I've got a box and an evaporative cooler that can sit against the back of that vent. And on the other side of the room, right up high on the wall up near the ceiling, I've got another flap, which is plywood and rails again that I can open and close. Now, I don't exactly go using the evaporative cooler and put the water in and use it with its humidifying function to try and cool the air that way. That isn't terribly efficient actually. It's hopeless because it's Chinese made and it's about 1 foot by 1 foot in size, if that. And it really is just not even effective at all. But of course the blower in it is good. So what I do is I open these vents up, and it's got a timer built into the evaporative cooler as well. So I turn the evaporative cooler on, and then I set the timer for an hour and a half, and I close my door, and often enough I'll do this, and then go have a shower, then come back from having a shower and, just get in bed with it still running like that, and it'll turn itself off with its timer. There are also little timers you can buy, mains ones that are digital. I've even seen 12-volt timers that are available that will allow you to set a time for the device to run before it turns off. But the idea here is basically to suck cold air from outside. Now what happens when the sun goes down, about half an hour after the sun goes down in late spring, early summer, the air goes really cool outside and your bedroom is still warm, or the air in your bedroom is still warm because of the sun beating down on the steel roof all day. Yes, I've got insulation and all that, but it still gets hot in there. So to cool it, we've got to basically blow all that hot air out of the room. Now the way we can do that is by sucking the cool air from outside. Now that the sun's gone down and the air's gone cool, we can suck that cool air from outside and blow it into the room, and then as the evaporative cooler's blower is blown away on this side of the room, the hot air is exiting out near the flap, up near the ceiling, up on the top of the wall, and leaving the room. And basically all the hot air in the room is transferred out of the room, and cool air from outside is brought into the room. Now this is purely a feature that I can do basically because the air drops quite a bit in temperature within half an hour of the sun going down. It may drop quite easily 10 degrees Celsius. So that's an option. It may also be an option for you in the autumn if it goes cool during the night, but if it's still sort of warmish during the day, especially during early autumn, in rooms that are in the middle of the house and haven't really had a chance to warm up, you can do the same thing. And all you essentially need is a pipe of any kind. I mean, it can be, I've seen people use a bit of carpet that's been cut and basically rolled in together and then blanket stitched together to create a pipe. You can use a lot of different things, as a pipe, and you need a fan either at one end of the pipe or the other to be able to draw that air from outside to inside. And if you have a room in the middle of the house that hasn't really warmed up as much as it is warm outside, you may be able to use the warm afternoon air outside to warm this room in the middle of the house in order to heat it up a bit before the sun goes down and the air outside then goes cool. A blower is more efficient than a normal desk fan. Now your blowers are like your cylinder-shaped ones with all your little blades. It's almost like a sheet metal cylinder that's been cut to create fan blades. that's a blower. They are more efficient by their design than a fan, as in a desk fan style thing. You can use computer fans. I've come across one that's 10 watt and it's a blower, and it's used for high-end processors to try and cool them, but that's got quite a bit of transfer. But it sucks in air through the side and then puts it out the front. But you can use normal computer fans. You can use a desk fan that's basically got the motor side, the back side of it, to the outside, and the front side to the inside, and you basically have it so the fan itself is like right in the middle of where the door is. So half the fan guard is one side of the door and the other half of the fan guard and the motor is the other side of the door. There's evaporative coolers that you may be able to get your hands on that have got a burnt out water pump or whatever. Or just go buy one, as I have, and use the blower out of that. But there's lots of different fans and lots of different options. You may also be surprised that there are mains-powered computer fans. They're little computer fans like what goes on your processor or the back of your power supply, and they are mains-powered. Now that will allow you to get a longer distance with thin wires. Over here we use 240 volt AC, and our extension leads are 25 metres quite commonly, and sometimes 30 metres. If you have quite a distance that you've got to push this air, and you want to have the switch in one place and the fan in another place, it may be an idea to use one of these small mains fans, because if you try and run 12 volt lines 25, 30 metres, don't be surprised if you check the other end and it's only looking like about 9 volts or less, because there's quite a drop in voltage over distance, as security camera installers in this country have found out. Plenty of them have worked out a little trick they can do. There's a box they can buy that'll take you from whatever voltage down to 12 volts, and what they do is they wire up 24 volts at the control end, and then they put the camera way down some other way, quite a distance down, and they've realised that if they have a 12 volt transformer at this end and then run it right down, they won't get 12 volts at the other end. So what they do is they put 24 volts at the control end, and then the camera end, they got one of these boxes that steps it back to 12 volts, and the camera has 12 volts. And this is useful for situations where there is not mains wires in areas that you already want to put a camera, but they don't already have mains wires that you can tap into. That's one thing they've found out. So it may be beneficial, for you to use a main style computer fan if you want to get real distance, without having to go overkill and buy too much, too heavy a cabling that's going to cost you a lot of money. These fans are available from electronic suppliers. You can do this slow or fast. It all depends on how much time you got and how big your room is, really. But with me, I get it done pretty fast and it works well. And I've found it's, to sit there with a desk fan blowing on you all night is going to take a lot more energy than my evaporative cooler, which is slightly more wattage but only needs to run for an hour to cool the whole room. And then because the outside air is cool and the room in the bedroom is, the air in the bedroom is cool, it tends to stay cool. That's a little trick I do to cool my room in late spring and early summer.